Good afternoon, guys. Hope everybody is doing well. It's such an honor to be here. Uh, my first engagement with Thai was sometime in actually 1999. This was Chicago. It was a small room in a hotel, maybe about 150 entrepreneurs. And at that time, I was in first year college. And I think that's probably what inspired my journey as an entrepreneur and as a founder. So very thankful, and it's a real honor to be here today at Thai Global Summit. Over the next few minutes, I'd love to take you through our business. I'm sure some of you have tasted our beers. I'm sure there are many fans of our beers here, and would love to take you behind the scenes on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build. Cool. I usually do this presentation over beers. So on the menu card, you'll see 4 beers. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to taste them today, but we'll do the next best thing, which is talk about them. I'm having a little bit of time. Okay, great. So the story of Bira 91 is obviously a story rooted in India. These are numbers you would have seen several times before, but just to reiterate the context in which we are operating, we're going to be the third largest economy by 2050, but more near term, 2030, we'll become a $7 trillion economy. More importantly, GDP per capita is going to grow to above $10,000 in the next few years. We'll end up at about $15,000 by 2030 PPP. And if you look at beer and things like entertainment, hospitality, all of these early discretionary categories, these benefit tremendously the moment countries become middle-income countries, middle-income economies. And that's really positive for categories in which we operate. India market cap is going to grow from 3 trillion to about 6 trillion. And 2 important indicators. Again, all of us in this room are familiar with these trends, but again, to reiterate, we're going from about 500 million smartphone users to about 900 million by 2030. Pretty much means every adult consumer in India will have a smartphone, and that's a great proxy for the level of education, awareness, interaction with global trends, brands, and so on. And the second key metric and trend here is rapid urbanization, people going in from villages to tier 4 towns to tier 3 towns, and so on and so forth. Again, has significant influence on how people work, how people live, what people eat and drink. And as India becomes more urban, categories such as alcoholic beverages are bound to grow. Unlike most other Asian economies, India's story is firmly rooted in domestic consumption. Almost 50%, more than 50% of our GDP today is made of domestic consumption. And what's incredible to see is that that growth is not slowing down. In fact, domestic consumption is projected to grow at a quicker pace than the overall economy. So by 2030, India will be a $4 trillion domestic consumption market. And within this sort of large domestic market, alcoholic beverages are a very meaningful part. Today, Indians consume about $35 billion of alcoholic beverages. To put that number into context, the size of the soft drinks market, carbonated soft drinks, Coke, Pepsi, fruit juices, packaged ready-to-drink beverages, etc., which are non-alcoholic, is about $6 billion. So alcoholic beverages is almost 6 times the size of non-alcoholic beverages in the country. When you think about the top 10 lists of where people drink beer, for example, most likely India would not be on anybody's top 10. But in the context of overall consumption patterns, beer is actually larger than, than soft beverages. As we go forward, the beer market in India will become a $20 billion market by 2030. What does that mean in the context of the world? And again, the trends that are impacting beer are similar to what's impacting consumer goods consumption overall, young population, rising affluence, increasing number of consumers. But there is one accelerator for beer, which is the propensity of consumers to drink alcoholic beverages, and the tolerance towards low ABV products such as beer and wine is increasing, and therefore a higher percentage of population is comfortable consuming products like beer. What does $1 billion mean in the global context? We'll be the second, or close to the second largest market by value, not just by volume, but by value in Asia by 2030. We'll be almost as large as Japan. And what's more significant is that we'd be the only large beer market that is still growing amongst all of the large beer markets. China's already started degrowing, Australia is degrowing, Japan is degrowing, and so on and so forth. And we remain the only large beer market that's still growing at a significant pace in 2030. So very meaningful category. In this context, we started about in 2015, and over the last 5 years, we've been responsible for we've gained more market share on an absolute basis than almost every other beer company in India. So we grew from a little less than 1% to about 5% of national market share, net 4% gain, compared to all of the larger players who've either declined in share or grown at a slower pace than us. What does that mean? Our growth over the last 7 years, we've grown at an average CAGR of 110%, and not of a very small base. This includes COVID years, 2 summers when beer sales stopped and paused to 0, consecutive summers when this happened. So if you compare our growth to, let's say, the market leader, which is proxy for industry growth, we've grown at a 14x pace compared to industry, triple-digit CAGR, and continue to grow at a similar pace this year. A good indicator of how we've managed to start changing what beer means for Indian consumers is that we've been responsible for 1/3 of the absolute volume growth in the country over the last 4 to 5 years. This is despite us playing in only maybe half of the beer market as on date. So what we've been able to establish is a clear and very unique and very positive market position. We're probably the only premium brand to emerge out of India in a very fiercely competitive lifestyle category such as beer. And we are growing at a pace which is much, much, much higher than competition. And therefore, what is our ambition? And this is what we're aiming for. We believe that we have a real opportunity to change what premium beer means for Indian consumers. Beer is a very generational product category. Nobody wants to drink what their dads drank. Every generation has a new definition of what premium beer means for them. And we believe we're onto something very special. So in the process of redefining what premium beer means for Indian consumers, which in our world is a diversity of flavors, we believe that we can aim for absolute market leadership in this very, very large category. When you look at this over a 10, 20, 30-year horizon, we also believe that we have the opportunity to become the first breakout international brand to emerge out of India, consumer brand to emerge out of India. What Corona has been able to do for Mexico, what Heineken's been able to do for the Netherlands, we believe we have an opportunity to do for India. What will get us there? What's our right to win? In this unlimited market and brand as strong as ours, we believe that our right to win has three key pillars: innovation, ensuring that we are on top of the innovation game, innovation value chain; profitability, our right to win has to be rooted in cash generation; and most importantly, culture. So how did we build a breakout brand? I think it started with a very simple idea, the name, Bira 91. When you think about premium products in India, the traditional way of communicating premium, at least for the prior generation, has been you use a European brand name or you anglicize a brand name. Think of Hayward's, think of Wills, think of Peter England. We went the exact opposite way. We said, this generation of Indian consumers has confidence in themselves. More importantly, we believe that beer is a category which is, it's a high love category. You cannot intimidate the consumer into buying premium. You have to be intimate with them. And the intent with our brand name was to keep a name that was super simple, very easy to say. Even if you took it to a Kovur or a Jabalpur, people should be able to say the name. But at the same time, position it as premium. So that familiarity, that intimacy that we have been able to build has reflected in high love and high market share growth for us. 91, of course, comes from the country code for India. When we were ideating on a mascot and a mnemonic to represent the brand, we loved the pun of the monkey. When you have a couple of beers, you let the monkey out. You let your visceral self out, and that was very powerful. And therefore, and it does genuinely bring a smile on everybody's face. And I think that has allowed us to really stand out on the beer shelf and in bars and restaurants. We position our brand as creative, playful, premium, and flavorful. 4 words that you probably don't think of when you think of beer. And we embarked on our first consumer campaign last year to bring this message of playfulness and flavor to our consumers, called Make Play with Flavors, last year, to some incredible results. We make the widest range of beers in the country. We make beers that are strong, that are light, that are mild. We make the country's only low-calorie, low-alcohol beer. We are market leaders in wheat beers, in beer styles like IPAs and stouts. And the intent is to ensure that we're able to do this at scale and make products that are delicious, but also accessible from a price point standpoint, and speaks to a diversifying consumer base. This is how our products show. We make our beers well. We've been the most awarded beer company in India. We've won more global awards than almost everybody else. And if you compare our products, our cans, this burst of color, this sort of energy is very unique. It's resonated really well with consumers. Not being a global company has its advantages, significant advantages. We've been able to design a marketing program not burdened by legacy global marketing mandates. We've been able to design a marketing program that really works for our Indian consumers. We operate with our marketing with 3 C's, the 3 pillars, the 3 C's as we call them: cricket, curry, and climate. Again, 3 things that you would not see associated with beer, especially with global brands. Cricket, of course, very obvious, the most popular sport in India. We're partners with the Cricket World Cup. You would have seen our branding on the recently concluded Australia World Cup. We've got a World Cup coming up next year. And it's just allowed the brand to be on television screens across 100% of consumers at least once a year through these major tournaments. And even in the most remote parts of the country, our brand is now familiar, even if they have never seen our product on their beer shelves. Curry, we believe that curry as a food group is elevating as Indian chefs become more modern, become more creative. They're influencing world cuisine in a manner that they have not done before. It's almost a mainstreaming of this brown consumer. And we believe that as Indian food premiumizes, as Indian restaurants premiumize, the beer that you drink alongside that should also become more flavorful and more premium. And therefore, we've launched something called the International Curry Week, which takes us, where we celebrate curry as a food group across 8 global cities, including Singapore, New York, London, and of course, cities in India. And that's really sort of helped us elevate the brand. And climate, again, something that you don't see alongside consumption categories such as alcoholic beverages, but we very strongly believe that today's consumer does not just want to drink better beers, they also want to make better choices for the community and the planet. And therefore, we announced our net zero ambition this Earth Day on April 22nd. We expect to be Asia's first carbon neutral beer company by 2025, Scope 1 and Scope 2. This is at least 5 to 10 years ahead of similar milestones for European beer companies in Europe. So we want to take leadership in not just being responsible corporate citizens and responsible brand, but also ensure that our consumers consider us to be innovation leaders in this area. And this has led to some incredible results. Good proxy for those of you who track consumer brands is this metric called top-of-the-mind awareness. Our top-of-the-mind awareness, put very simply, is a survey agency like Nielsen going out to consumers and asking them a question, unaided question: what is the first brand of beer that comes to your mind? And typically, that number, the number of respondents who sort of call out a particular brand, typically correlates with market share or potential market share extremely well. So when you look at our top-of-the-mind awareness, our top-of-the-mind awareness has grown from less than 4% about 4 years ago to 17% in the most recently concluded wave. This is national. This is not just Tier 1, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad. This is national, 24 to 28 towns, including Tier 3, Tier 4 towns, including places where we're not present. And this is what so we've now become the second most salient brand as far as consumer awareness is concerned, top-of-the-mind consumer awareness is concerned, and it's a great indicator of what the potential is for this brand. But what's equally exciting is that all of this growth, this 13-point growth over the last 4 years, has come at the expense of the market leader. So it's not the number 2 or the number 3 player that's declined. We've taken share away from the market leader. So as I said earlier, I firmly believe that beer is a generational product category. A change of guard is underway, and that's now reflecting in numbers. And that's what gives us so much confidence about the potential for the brand. If we continue down this path long enough, these numbers should ideally flip between UB and us, or Kingfisher and us, and the potential for market leadership is absolutely there. What's gotten us there is also our capability on innovation. This consumer wants products that are bespoke, that are new, that are novel. And to do this at scale takes a culture of innovation that is sort of integral to the company. It takes investments in innovation, and it takes a lot of capability from a people perspective. And I think we've assembled all three in a manner which is hard to compete with, at least at this stage, when we look at other players. And we've done it in a manner which is completely imagined in India. We call the brand Imagined in India. So last summer, we released some beers with kokum and coconut and mango. Recently, we released a Diwali themed beer with peated malts. And we also did a collaboration with House of Dragons and so on and so forth. So the things that you see coming out of the Bira house are things that you would not have seen in the past from any beer company, at least in India and potentially across, at least at scale. And it's easy to do innovation at a microbrewery scale. It's easy to do innovation at a microbrewery scale, but not easy to do it at production scale. And I think that's what we've sort of specialized and gotten right in terms of the innovation flywheel and building this business at scale. And I'd just like to play a short clip to take you through how we presented these brands. Thank you. Okay, I know I'm out of time, but I'd just like to take you through our sustainability journey because I think that's really important, and then we can close the presentation. If I can just... So this is another video, and as I mentioned, we announced our mission to zero on April 22nd of this year. Just to give you context on what this is all about, again, I'd love to play a quick video if I can.
For this generation of consumers, beer means flavor. We brew the most flavorful beers on the planet, and now we are on a mission to make the greenest beers for the planet too. This is our mission to zero. Making beer is completely dependent on the environment. And we are building India's first net zero beer company. By 2025, every Bira 91 brewery will have zero carbon emissions. We are rolling out the green carpet, and here's our plan to zero. We will shift to 100% clean energy. We will minimize buying electricity made by burning coal or natural gas. We are now zero coal in all our breweries. 100% of our breweries will have electricity generated from solar panels. We will install off-grid wind turbines to light up our breweries. We will use 60% less energy. We are improving every small step of making beer. From mill to mash, boil to ferment, filter to pack, we are doing it smarter, faster, and better. By recycling, reducing, and reusing, we will cut our water use by half. And for us, zero is not just about zero carbon emissions. It's also about zero waste to landfill. We're cutting the scrap and commit to send zero waste to landfills across our breweries by 2025. Our to-do list for the planet is ready. Here's what you can do. Drink more draft. Recycle. Recycle, recycle. Get creative. In our world, zero is greater than 91. And let's drink to that.
So 0 is greater than 91, and I'd just like to end with one comment. I think what we're trying to do is prove that brands from India can not just be the most innovative, the most flavorful, the most sustainable, but also the coolest brands to emerge from this, on this planet. Thank you so much for listening.